was this fancy meal with Trefethen wines. It was like coming to do a wine pairing with a fancy meal at a fancy restaurant that's now closed down in Vancouver. And I think that he was maybe the sommelier or something at this restaurant, invited us to come to this wine pairing. And he said, come over to my house first and we'll have a couple glasses of wine before we go. And he lived nearby, and so we did, and by a couple, I mean several bottles. And then we went to this wine pairing, and the Trefethen Winery is this Californian winery, and Janet Trefethen was there. And it's a very prestigious, apparently very well-established vineyard. And we were seated, me and Jared were seated one on each side of Janet Trefethen at the table. And we proceeded to have more wine, which is their fault. And eventually, Jared does this thing that is one of my favorite things that he does, which is he masterfully plays stupid. So, Janet was talking about like getting the wine just right. And she was talking to the whole table, which was like this long banquet-style seating thing, and everyone was rapt and listening very carefully. And she said that sometimes, you know, we need to get a little more acidity. And Jared said, how do you make it more acidic? Do you put like batteries in it? And he said it totally straight faced. She was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, I mean just like what kind of batteries do you put in the wine to make it more acidic? And he just kept on with it. No batteries. And he's like, well, I mean, obviously you take the batteries out before you drink the bottle. And it sort of escalated, got more ridiculous. We were really sort of not taking the whole event terribly seriously. We drank more wine. Jared and I each tried to pay for dinner. Both of us ended up tearing one another's credit cards. He had a fancy credit card, so his was rushed to his door by 8 a.m. the next morning, and mine took 2 weeks to replace. But anyway, it was a sweet night. The dinner went over when we were invited by the manager of the restaurant to the bar for a drink, and we were like, oh well, thank you very much. He's like, hey, you want to come to the bar for a drink? And we were like, absolutely, yes we do. We went to the bar, which was in the other room. The bar was closed, and they just kept on escorting us around. Yeah, whatever. I mean, to say that I, woke up in my own vomit would not be necessary. That was one of the worst nights. One of the worst next days that I've ever had. But there was a sort of silver lining, which was that Jared had to shoot the next morning. Do I know, you want to go back and look at the scene?